Let's see how it looks so far. The break time!
Yeah. I have been extremely mean to the Acura Integra. I was just hoping for enthusiasts to have something a little bit more fresh and new, because the first time I saw the Integra in person and kind of in the wild, I was in Vancouver, Canada, and I mistaked it for an ILX at first. And just that design language of that front grille, I was kind of hoping for something different, not to mention the constant Genesis coupe jokes of the rear end. I think a lot of us who are hardcore Honda and Acura fans just weren't very pleased with the car. It just didn't have the bite I was looking for in a grand unveil of a legacy car that we all know and love in the enthusiast community. And so, yeah, it was kind of hard to watch. And I even made another video talking to other Integra enthusiasts, talking about their opinions of it, and it was pretty consistent.
Hey, Amanda, you are lead marketing of the Integra, and you have to present this new prototype. What is your angle?
I quit.
But I'm also a hardcore enthusiast, and that doesn't keep a company alive, so there's that argument. However, if we're gonna be honest today, which I am, let's get into the brand new Acura Integra Type S, which we just got spy shots of, and Motor Trend just flew all the way to Japan and drove it for 2 laps. So shout out to you for going all the way there for 2 laps, pretty wild. First things first, the main argument of the Integra being a 4-door and the way it looks and how it is in general is that coupes don't sell anymore. Nobody wants coupes anymore, which I think they're basing that argument on the Civic SI's audience. But if you think about the Civic Si in the past, even like the EM1 and all those cars, I never viewed the Civic Si customer and the Integra Type R customer or GSR as the same kind of person. I always thought the Acura Integra Type R was an even more hardcore version of the EM1, if that makes sense. However, that's just not how the cookie crumbles nowadays, apparently, and that's why they just did this. So with the brand new Type S on the horizon, let's break it down, go over some of the rumors, the stats, and all that good stuff, and then give you my opinion on it. So I just reviewed the brand new Civic Type R, and this will actually be an important factor of what we talk about today, because they have a lot in common. The car was great. I really didn't have any main complaints. It was just an improved version of the older car, but its bigger problem is actually the competition. That is the main problem for the Honda Civic Type R. There's so many other Japanese sports car options right now that you have to really make a statement to take on behemoths like the Corolla GR and everything else right now. But I know what you're gonna say in the comment section below. Before you even finish this video, you're gonna say, oh, but David, they all have dealer markups and blah, blah, blah. You're absolutely correct. And do I know why this keeps happening when customers don't buy sports cars? No. Why do they keep doing this? That's a whole nother video. Regardless of dealer markups, there's a lot of Japanese competition out there right now. So when I heard that the Acura Integra Type S was coming, I was pretty optimistic, okay, they gotta do something really drastic to kind of hang out with everybody else. That's my opinion. So the regular Integra uses the Civic Si powertrain, which at first was a huge bummer when unveiled, but they had a manual transmission around, which was great. And everybody online when I talked about this car was like, just wait for the Type S, just wait for the Type S. Acura claims that in a nutshell that the Acura Integra Type S is gonna be more like road focused, more posh, more exquisite and luxury, rather than the track focused boy racer Type R. If you were to argue for the Civic Type R on the road, I thought it was fine. However, on Sonoma's racetrack, if I was in R+ mode, I got crazy amounts of wheel hop from how stiff the chassis was, which is great for a smooth road, but on Sonoma's racetrack, there's these kind of bumpy areas and I would get a ton of wheel hop. But if you were in more of comfort suspension in the individual mode and R+ everything else, it was really good. Basically, the Civic Type R pushes the absolute limit of what front wheel drive can do from the production floor. I mean, 300 plus wheel horsepower, as we've figured out from some dyno testing that people have done, to the front wheels in a stock car is pretty bananas. The Civic Type R is really fun to drive. It's great. It has the spirit of the last car. The styling's a little bit more reduced. You know, it's not as over-styled as a lot of people tended to say about the last car. But there is one thing that they said about that car that I'm gonna be like, not quite sure. The camo, according to Motor Trend, was actually more for like a dramatic effect, which I completely agree, because what are you hiding? You can see everything. There's nothing on this Type S that you're like, whoa, I wonder what's under there. It shows the entire body line of the car. It shows everything. It just doesn't have badges on it. It's like, wow, I wonder what car brand that is. Let me hack into the mainframe and figure out what that is.
I could launch a cyber nuke, but it'll completely fry his system.
Even with the camo, you do notice one major thing, and that is the exhaust and the diffuser in the rear end. It is improved from the normal car. The normal car looks almost naked, like with the dual exhaust ports on it. It just doesn't look quite right. And with the more Civic Type R styling of the exhaust and the diffuser, it starts to transform more into what you'd think a modernized four-door Integra would look like. I'm not saying I completely love it, but it's progress is progress. That's what I'm trying to get at. We're getting there, we're getting somewhere. Takes a little bit out of that Genesis Coupe look, which leads me to this point. I wasn't a fan of the normal Integra, as you guys know. Do I still want the fantasy of having a two-door, modern-looking DC2 Integra? Of course I do, and I'm sure there's a bunch of enthusiasts that would literally run to the dealership right now and go buy one. But that's just not how the world is right now, according to Acura, and it's probably not going to happen.
My friend's in there.
Congratulations.
So if we look at the Type S objectively and subjectively, at least we're getting something. At least we're not just getting that four-door normal one and then nothing above it. So that's a plus. I have to say though that Motor Trend states that this motor sounds beautiful. Wow, from the outside it doesn't sound amazing. Not gonna lie. I disagree. When I think of the new Civic Type R's engine, beautiful is not the sound that comes to mind. When I think of beautiful soundtracks, I think of like the non-LP Gallardo or the Pagani Zonda or the 2JZ or the RB26 or just very smooth, serene engine sounds. I don't think that this engine sounds smooth or serene. It's kind of hard to describe, to be honest. It's not terrible, it's not amazing, it's just kind of middle of the road for me when it comes to tone of this engine. Gone are the days of high revving, naturally aspirated Hondas. Holy shit, where, you know, you're banging off rev limiter and you're like, this is the best day ever. Like, I understand that those times are gone, but still wouldn't say it's beautiful sounding. I do find it funny though that in the article, the Acura reps did not want to say or admit that the suspension tuning was probably similar to the Civic Type R. The new Acura Integra, it's no secret that this is a car to sell to the masses because it shares so much with the Civic Si. That's how you save money, is sharing information between different brands that are in your same umbrella. So why wouldn't the Acura Integra Type S copy its brother's homework?
25.
I mean, it's the logical decision for research and development. I wouldn't be surprised if it's extremely similar, or maybe a tad softer. That's just speculation, but it's probably true. But the pricing of this, I am actually worried about. If it's true, Motor Trend did this adjustment where they used kind of what's called like the 10% rule. So if you have a car that's like a base model trim and then you add 10% and that's like the next trim level, it doesn't apply to everything, but that's kind of like how Honda typically works. It'll be like somewhere around $48,000 for an Integra. And that is kind of hard to swallow, to think about. And I know that times are different. especially after the world ended two years ago. But still, man, imagine that with a dealer markup. That is just super hard to stomach. And there's other options out there that you can get for the same price. I personally would not buy a Acura Integra Type S, which is basically a Type R with a fancier interior, for nearly $50,000. That's just, it's not me. This is not my thing. And that's okay, but maybe it's something for somebody else to spend that much money. I know the development would be absolute hell for what I'm about to say, but I really wish that Honda and Acura would commit to doing their own modernized all-wheel drive system. And this is a fantasy, I know, but think about it. If the Type S had all-wheel drive compared to the Civic Type R, that would give it more of a selling point. It would make people talk about it way more. It'd be way cooler to be like, hey, did you hear about the Type S? And get kind of some buzz going about Honda's doing all-wheel drive. That's amazing. Because what was the biggest thing about the Corolla GR? Yes, it had a really unique 3-cylinder engine from the Yaris, which has proved to be an amazing engine, but it was all-wheel drive in that little itty-bitty hatch. With the STI gone, this could be a moment for the Integra to come in. Look, I know that the Integra and the STI were never that similar. That'd been another way to fill in that gap to go against the Corolla GR. However, it would just be a lot more exciting to see what Honda does with all-wheel drive, because they're so used to tuning front-wheel drive. I would love to see it on the Integra, because that gives you the reason to justify a bigger price tag, not just because you have some better materials in the interior, which is a fair point to raise a price, but not by that much. It would come off way more about how much effort and R&D is going into this car rather than a copy and paste model. That's what it feels like to the enthusiast community, even though we all know that R&D is extremely stressful and very expensive. So I just wanted to give you my 2 cents on that part. And what do you think about that? Do you think the Type R should, I called it a Type R. Do you think the Type S should be all-wheel drive? Let me know in the comment section below. I think it was very cool of Acura to make the TLX Type S. Very cool car, but the design language is just so similar. And maybe that should have been the Integra if you were going to do a 4-door, but I digress. Am I excited that Acura is building a upper trim level version of the new Integra? Absolutely. I'm more optimistic about this car than I was about the initial one, because that was kind of like in the dark, like, are they going to build one? Are they not going to build one? Like, what is this car? Why did you build this way? And I think the weirdest thing about it was talking to a few Acura reps and trying to express why people were upset. And a lot of them that I talked to just didn't get it. Like, they didn't quite understand. So one of my major points as a closing thought was, why are you comparing this to the DC2 Integra? Like, why are you saying that it's just like the old one, or it's continuing that car's legacy, rather than saying the Integra has a new life or going in a different direction, which is blatantly clear. And they'd be like, what do you mean? Like, we are continuing that legacy. I'm like, oh no. But with this one, at least they're going in a better direction. I'm sure it's gonna be very fun to drive, but really wish that we heard some news about all-wheel drive. That's the main thing for me. Integra Type S, what do you guys think about it? Put in the comment section below. Make sure to hit the like button on this video. It really helps me out in this YouTube algorithmic world. I upload on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and I will see you guys next time, and take it easy. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye. This video is brought to you by Patterson Car Care. Get double of premium original detail product for half the price. Head over to PattersonCarCare.com or go to the link in the description below.